There's a few bits that we can't shy away from. I think it would be very naive to go, okay, we'll do everything the same way and just treat it like a normal game. It's not going to be a normal game as such. I think we're going to have to change maybe some elements of training, but we're not going to throw everything out the window. We still need to stay true to what is our philosophy, our system. But we've got to approach the game with enough respect to be able to say, look, we're coming against strong opposition. My thought process behind it is that iron sharpens iron. So the more we can build towards approaching a strong battle, we might have to look at maybe focusing more on a different side of the game, but that's natural. It's just only preparing people properly for the situations they're realistically going to face.
Because it should be good to state the obvious as well, in that this might be a second round game, but it's certainly not your second game in the FA Cup. You've had to go the long way through qualifying, and you've really earned your place to be here.
I think so. I think we've come up against some really good opposition. I'd probably state the last the 3 rounds we've been in it so far, all 3 have been completely different tests. Some we've gone into more knowledge than others, but knowing that really everyone we're going to come up against is going to be strong. Everyone's going to come in thinking, right, it's the FA Cup, there's going to be something to prove here. There's going to be an opportunity to come away from the league and do something different, or start a different run and come away from that different patch of momentum, which may not be so good in the league, but can they start something in the FA Cup? So everyone's coming in with that mindset, so you therefore can't look at a league table and say, look, it's going to be the same, they're not that good, they're very good, you know what I mean? So we can then go and approach each game with enough respect to get us into the next round, because ultimately there's always a bigger picture behind things.
How proud are you of your side for handling a big occasion such as the first round to then reach this record-breaking stage, and not only getting there but in such a convincing manner with a 4-1 win as well? I
think the growth shows, and we are really proud of that as a group. Coming away from a battle that took guts and heart against Denham, which, had the game gone any longer, I'm not sure how the game would have finished, if I'm being honest. But then against Sherborne, where we looked a little bit more convincing and more dominant in that game, which was a different side of the sword that was really nice to see. So showing that we can do both is something I'm most proud of. We're not one team that can only do well when we have it, or we have the ball, or we have things going our way, but we're also good when things don't go our way.
What do you expect the difference to be from the first side you're going to be playing that's in a league above you?
To say they're a league above us is one thing. To look at how they're doing in that league is another. Fair play to them that they're building a really strong team, and they have got a really strong team, and they're preparing for a team that should be competing in Tier 3. So we're going to approach that with enough professionalism to say, look, we're probably not going to have a lot of the ball today. And you've got to be okay with that. So if we go into that with a realistic enough expectation to be able to compete and look at that level, is going to be something we're going to strive for, because ultimately we want to get to that stage. We want to be at that level. Big players play big football matches. So if you're not willing to do that, you're not willing to be a big footballer.
Well, ultimately, you've earned your place here, and you've got just as much right as Swindon Town, so you never know what's going to happen on the day. And the potential of a third round tie is obviously huge for the club. And to look at some of the clubs you could come up against, WSL2, that's 3 leagues above. It could be trips to Newcastle, Sunderland, Durham, as well as many others.
Yeah, I think that's all the more fuel for that long away game, to make the day of it, to feel as a professional footballer for a day, where you've got to come away from your jobs outside of football to say, look, I'm going to be a professional footballer today, and be on that long coach journey, starting from early, staying overnight, and being part of a group that is about to go play a team that is professional.
Is every game making history now after that first round point show the direction the club obviously want to be and are capable of getting up the leagues?
Yeah, I think we can only be held to our previous standard. So if we continue to build that, then that's going to be the new baseline. Right, we need to get better than that, we need to get better than that, we need to get better than that. We can't sit still, otherwise you'll be overtaken. Everyone else wants to be better than they were last year. And if you're not going to be better than you were last year, then people are going to surpass you. You're not going to hit your targets, and we can't then continue to grow as a football club. So any stage that we reach is, great, we've reached that stage. But next year, how do we get better than that?
On Sunday, you've got this double header with Oxford United women, the only other side in Oxfordshire left in the Women's FA Cup. So there's a bit of an internal battle there as well. But I mean, try sell the day.
If there's not been a reason to watch Oxfordshire women's football before, then I think that's the day. You're going to see two really good football matches. Whether you're a neutral fan or support one of the sides, it's going to be a really good day of football. We're going to have a lot of events on at the club, food, drinks. There's enough to make a day of it. And I think if you love football, you're going to see two very competitive football matches. And with the magic of the FA Cup being there, you never know how either of them are going to end up.